In this video, we're gonna take a look at what it means to have table headers applied to your tables in PDF using Adobe Acrobat Pro DC. This video is sponsored by Venngage, but more on that later. Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump into the ring. In order for your tables to be accessible in PDF, they must have table headers applied. Now, typically what this means is you either have the first row set as a heading, or you could have the first column, or you could have both of those items selected. I have a sample PDF here that already has the correct tags applied. Let's go ahead and open up the table tag and explore it. In this example, we have a T head tag and a T body tag. Those tags actually aren't required, but sometimes when we go from Word to PDF, they are put in automatically. What we wanna do is make sure that our table headers are applied to aspect, description, and example famous wrestler. And we can determine by the TH cell that these are currently tagged as a table header. Now, let's say, for example, we wanted to have freestyle wrestling and all of the content underneath it as a table header as well. If we expand the other table rows, we can determine that they are currently marked as a TD cell. And so if we wanted to make those cells a table header, there's a few different ways we can do this. First method is we can right-click the TD cell, select Properties, and then change it to a table header cell. Another method we can do is open up our Prepare for Accessibility option, select the Fixed Reading Order panel, right-click the table, and select Table Editor. Now from here, we can select all of the cells that we want to update, right-click them, select Table Cell Properties, and simply select Header Cell instead of Data Cell. Now, typically this also means we change the scope, but I'm gonna cover that in another video. Now, this is a whole lot of work to make our tables accessible. You might consider using a product like today's sponsor, Venngage. Venngage allows us to create an accessible template of a PDF, and we can make alterations right here in the web browser. I'm going to select one of these default accessible templates that has a table in it, and let's select Start Editing. We can jump straight into the table and begin to make it accessible. Let's select the File button and then select Accessibility, and I want to check accessibility. Then we're gonna select Check My Design. We can very quickly run a scan of our file right here in Venngage, and if I jump down to the table section, we have an option to say table headers are appropriately tagged. If I select the table, we have this button that appears at the top called Headers. We can select that button and we have the option to set header row and header column. Let's go ahead and download this file and just check the table headers. We're gonna download a PDF. Now, there was probably more that we could have done to the file, but in this example, I just want to open up the table tag. So we're gonna go down to the table tag and we can determine that we have TH cells, they're already properly tagged, and the first cell of each row is also set to a table header. So by using a product like Venngage, you can ensure that your content is accessible on export. To try out a free trial of Venngage, check out the link in the description of this video. All right, let's go back to another PDF that we have. Now, this one was created using the Print to PDF option in Microsoft Word, and that doesn't retain any of our tags. So the first step I wanna do is select our Prepare for Accessibility button and choose Automatically Tag PDF. This is going to automatically apply a tag structure to this document, and I'm hoping that it's gonna tag our table perfectly good so we don't have to do anything extra to it. All right, now that we have this document tagged from the Print to PDF, let's review to see that our table has headers in it. I'm going to expand the table rows, and it does appear that the first row was marked appropriately as the table header, and the first column was not, but that's okay for now. That concludes today's video on how to ensure that table headers have been applied to your tables in your PDF. Now, if you're working with more complex tables, check out some of my other videos on how to tag complex tables for accessibility. Thank you for today's sponsor, Venngage. And as always, I could be your champion for inclusion. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.